Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on leechess.org, and I just got paired up playing a 15-2 game. Alright, c4. Let's go with e5. Okay. Okay. Knight c3. Alright, let's go knight c6. Let's see what white does with their bishop. I'm going to hold off on my king knight. There are some caveman-like ideas with h5 and h4. A knight may be better placed here. There may be a reason to keep my f-pawn free. This is if white goes for a knight e2 move and a quick castles. Alright, well with that move it appears white's going for a very quick d4. Well, my intention was to play bishop c5. And then just some standard stuff with d6. And also preserving my bishop with a6. So let's see. Yeah, let's go in for that. Bishop c6. So I guess this is going to be the move. So knight e2, d3. Yeah, actually I think I'll need to play d6, excuse me. If knight to e2 and then d6. Wow. Okay, scratch that. Well, knight e2, d6, d4. Excuse me, if knight to e2 and I went a6, d4 can hit with tempo, d5 with tempo, and then this pawn could come all the way down to d6. So on knight to e2, I was preparing to play d6, and on d4, I was going to back up. Scratch all of that. My bishop is under fire. Very odd move. Well, I run the risk of getting trapped if I go here, so I'm content with just playing here, and I believe I'll be gaining a tempo against this knight, no? Okay, this what to share right now? This feels like a position where I could really, like, I feel like I'm already equal, and there's a possibility for me to be better somehow. With that knight moving a second time, I have two pieces out, white only has one, and with the e-file soon to be opened up, isn't there going to be a nice tempo I could grab against this knight? Maybe a check against b4. Okay, well anyhow, just some rough thoughts to start. That's what's first capturing my attention. So I know it's minimal, this lead in development that I have, but I think with just this small lead in development, I should look to first capture on d4 and ensure that this position, in fact, is going to be opened up. On knight f6 takes, bishop takes, there is this move, which I'm not fearing a great deal by any means, but I think to squeeze the most out of this position, I just should make a capture. Now, let me just weigh one more thing. And that is, I am helping this bishop out by capturing on d4. But I don't think that that should be a problem. Yeah, let's initiate this capture and then make the most natural move in the world. Knight f6. And what to do with the knight? Knight takes knight. Bishop takes. My bishop is improved, and I'm really quick to castle and play rook to e8. I'm leaning more towards d5 than d6, because I want to initiate more captures. And, well, as it stands right now, I gotta defend this pawn. What to do with d4? Okay. Alright. So my candidate moves are castles, d5, queen check. Well, you know what? I might be able to win a pawn in a few moves. Suppose I castle, and white plays bishop e2, anticipating rook to e8. Let's see. Castles, bishop e2, rook to e8. If white then castles, can I not take twice here? Knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, and then rook takes bishop. That would be an opposite color bishop position. And I could actually get my rook trapped with bishop to e3. Maybe it's not necessary to think that deep right now. Probably castles is best here. Castles, d5, queen to e7. Well, hold on a moment. d5 would threaten pawn takes pawn and then capturing away on d4. Let's go with d5. Yeah. Now, if this tension is maintained, if I am going to capture on c4, I'll hold off on doing that until the bishop has moved. I don't want this point A to point B recapture. I want white to make 2 moves to make a recapture on c4 instead of 1. So let's see. I'm not fearing this move because I could go here and then it's awkward for white. The bishop is not yet out, so that's why I'm okay with, let's say, not castling here. I'm not fearing a major piece check. And also by playing d5, another way to look at it is I don't allow white the possibility to even grab some space with their center pawn and chase my knight away. So this is a very open position. There was some time wasted with knight here. I know it grabbed a tempo against my bishop, but he was perfectly content with dropping back to e7. And after I went here, the knight had to move again. So if we consider the queen-knight moves, 1, 2, it moved 3 times. My bishop moved twice. Some time was lost by white. Can this translate into something substantial? Can I net a pawn somehow? I may be close to doing that. It may be the case that white's d-pawn is difficult to defend. We'll see. I can also maybe look for bishop to g4. And a thought that just quickly ran through my mind was, is it maybe... how unreasonable would it be to maybe castle queenside? I would still need to do a lot more, but no, I don't think so. Because there's already some file that white gets to play with on this the C file. Okay. Bishop e3 it is. Okay. Well, I could go with castles. I could play bishop here. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at one of these two. I don't think there's a great way to take advantage of the king being on the open file. You know, white's just 2 moves away. So I don't see a quick castles rook e8 as being so forceful. I know I'm spending a lot of time, but this is an open position and really want to try to find the best moves here. Right out of the gate. Bishop to e6, pawn takes. Well, bishop to e6, there's maybe even c5. And then my bishop would have to go somewhere else. He'd have to make another move. I think it's best to castle here. And I'm going to run with this general principle to go with the least flexible move first. I'm not going to go queenside castles. My king only has one option, therefore. And my bishop, multiple options. So I'd like to retain those options. If here, probably this. Yeah. This might be a possibility as well. Let's see. I'm thinking white's going to go with c5 or a bishop move. Not too much more. Rook c1, they're flirting with danger. Still keeping the king. White's 2 moves away from kingside castle, so let's see. We've both been using some time here. 9 moves in. Okay. Not sure what else candidate move. What other candidate moves there are. Pawn takes. I don't even have to recapture with my queen. I could play knight b4 here. I think that would actually be better. I'm glad I didn't do this move. Yeah, I could even take it one step further. You know, how I said going with the least flexible move first. In this position, when we consider the rook and bishop both pieces that still need to contribute, which of these two has fewer options? It'd be the rook. He knows his place, so I might declare my rook before my bishop. But we'll see how things play out. There may be a reason for a quick pin of the knight, and then maybe capture, and maybe I could take on d4. And maybe this is concerning white, and if they're concerned about d4, I think that they might play c5. Just to ensure that I can't capture and try to show that this pawn is a vulnerable point. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what else. What would I do on c5? Sometimes you might shoot for an undermining type thing, but I don't think that that would be best in this position. I think it is open enough on the king side. I mean, we have a completely open file, so I'll be looking to take some action on the king side. I could live with the pawn on c5. I should be able to get some play against maybe the bishop. I really do think that this might be a future reposition of the knight. c5, rook e8, bishop here might be a little bit annoying. So I wonder on c5, I mean, this feels a little too slow. So what would I do on c5? Okay, c5. Now that it's here, now I have to think on my time. Okay. Well, we could identify this is my bad bishop because of this fixed pawn. This is white's bad bishop, so I'd be welcome to a light square bishop exchange is what I'm getting at. Well, maybe it's time for that reposition. Let's see. Bishop G4, Bishop F5. Yeah, I'm hesitant to do this, so I think I want to drop my bishop on one of these two. Bishop G5 and H3. I could just take. And then take on D4. So bishop to... And bishop G4, H3 I don't worry about. Bishop G4, bishop to E2. And then knight F5, H3, then bishop back, G4, bishop here, G5. My bishop's trapped. Maybe trying to pin the knight isn't so great. There's a convenient reply to that. I think I'm fine with bishop here. Yeah. This might be a future post for the bishop. Or even this right now. Or this. I think I like queen d7. It's developing, right? Okay. Well, I feel like my knight is the one who's struggling some here. Yeah, I think I'd like to have my knight on f5. No. Let's start with something like this. Let's get another developing move in. Yeah. So I don't think that there was a way to take advantage of these this early knight c3 to e4 maneuver. Queen here. This isn't quite... No, this actually would be working because I could take the queen with check. This would be a serious blunder. Probably just castles here. This might be a bit of a vulnerable point. Yeah. I'd have to do something like this one day. Queen b3, rook to b8. Not so comfortable, but I don't know how well placed the queen would be from b3. She's pretty much only functioning as if she's a rook. Okay. Well, let's sneak in a flight square right now. I don't know. A computer probably be fine with both of these moves. H6 it is. Now white could do this. And this isn't a move anymore. Because a bishop takes and knight takes is no longer with check. So they could try and force the issue. Try to resolve this tension between the bishops with queen c2. On queen c2, maybe that's an opportunity for knight e7. Or maybe I'm fine with just taking the bishop at that stage. And then putting a rook on e8. Maybe this was more to the point. Instead of h6. You know, this is the only open file, so what is likely? What's likely is that both rooks will be exchanged. Yeah. Maybe even the queen. I wouldn't mind seeing a heavy piece, less ending. You know, just two minor pieces each. My long-term idea in this game is to try and play against this guy. To try and arrive at a position where it's my dark square bishop against white's good versus bad bishop, or good knight versus bad bishop. That's the only thing I see that I could play with. I mean, I have some pressure against d4, so maybe that's something. Yeah. maybe that could be something actually. You know, getting on e8, playing my rook to e4. That's preparing to a double, and it's also putting pressure on d4. So I should not lose sight of d4. I mean, again, it was my pressure against d4 is what likely provoked the c5 move. Okay, so white's just preparing to expand in one day. Give my knight a boot. Okay. Well, my first thought is, do I play a5 right now? a5 bishop here feels very annoying. Tough bishop that will, yeah, that'll be an annoying bishop. So maybe before that I initiate this capture. Let's try for this. Takes. And then a5, and this is not just a defensive move, but an aggressive move. Yes. B3 wasn't played. I was going to lock down on that structure and then maybe even slip into c4. It's an important move. So I bring that idea to a halt. Well, let's get the rook here. I want to keep this rook here because at any moment the a file can open up, yeah. This may be time for me to play knight a7. Seems awkward, but... My idea would be to post up on b5. Okay. Seems a little far-fetched, but knight a7, b4 takes. If pawn takes, I'm not fearful of that, but I'm fearful of rook takes. With this pawn getting hit. Maybe I could just return, give up the b pawn, and then try to play against the a pawn. Gotta come up with something fast. Already getting down to the wire. Alright, let's shoot for this. Yeah. I may be, I wonder on b4 if I could get away with a4. Okay, well, this is a big moment. Do I play a4? a4, b5 most likely. I probably have to take. Well, no. On I think a4 is correct. Let's go with a4 because now on b5 I have a timely c6. This is extremely important that I secure a square on b5 for my knight. Yes, because if I didn't maybe go forward with this a4 idea, then, you know, maybe white could play a4 and I wouldn't have this square, so I think how I'm playing it is right. Yeah, really turned into a queenside battle now. Knight on b5. My rook has something useful to do. My knight will actually be putting pressure on two white pawns. Pawns that white will need to watch over with pieces. A bishop here could be annoying. Trying to next jump in here. You know, this kind of reposition, I think I'd hold off on a bishop exchange. I might go here. What I don't want to work around or try to work around is a knight on e5. White has some space, so in position types like this, I could see exchange sacrifices a bit more likely. So I have to be wary of rook takes, pawn takes, and maybe white scooping up by pawn. Okay. Let's get there. And I wonder if I could play g5. Is that too weakening? Probably. I think I was too quick to play this h6 move. Because maybe I want to do this. I don't know. It's tough. Queen here to here, offering a queen exchange. Maybe also here to stop bishop f4. Queen can't go too far. She's the only defender of a3. This might be an idea. Yeah, that might be an idea. Would I have to do this then? Okay, they definitely do not like having to make that move. Should I just take some preventative measures against? No, I could probably play queen g4. And on queen there, I can offer a queen exchange. Let's do something active. This rook is opposite my queen, so here takes, pawn takes to watch out, but I don't think that's a good structural shift. Well, this was my idea. Let's do it. And I think with the queens off, this type of exchange sacrifice is less likely. How to recapture on queen takes queen? Because pawn takes is an interesting option to try and get the knight here, but you know what? I think the knight is best placed here, stopping rook activity. And yeah, there is that move. But I do have this move on rook takes. Huh. Just go with the rook up move for right now. Let's try that. Rook takes pawn, knight here. Yeah, this is a very active queen. Both under 2 minutes. Yeah. It's a tough one. Big pressure on d4. White has adequate defense. An additional defender of d4 even. There's a restriction on the rook. Suppose bishop here. Could I get away with taking the pawn? You know, if they try to cover knight c3. Knight here, I could do this. That would just be chasing my queen to an even more aggressive square. All right, let's see what Chesserie comes up with. Okay, so I guess we're going to have a queen exchange, huh? Do I have something better? I don't think so. You got to take with this rook. Now with things simplified a bit more. No, this bishop can't go here because of this pressure. But suppose I play rook here. Yeah, let's go here. Threatening to take this pawn, so... Okay. Improve my king? Here, 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 here. Seems far-fetched, doesn't it? I feel like white is preparing a sacrifice here. Maybe it's better that my king comes over this way. Let's do this. Okay. Get my king on d7. Yeah. And let's come all the way back. This pawn boxes the knight out. Okay, so they're preparing to challenge my knight. But can I not do this? And look for... they might have a sneaky move. I might be threatening knight takes pawn. Ooh. Is that working right now? Rook takes. Not quite working. Let's improve my king. Let's get a pawn on a light square. They've been going really fast. I probably should have done something with my bishop sooner. Let's go here. I think this is a very good move. Ah, they missed it. They're in a pin. Oh, no, it's pretty clear cut. Okay. Let's push my pawn. And keep going. Yeah, I got the increment. They just missed that idea. So now I could slip in on these light squares and I have all day. The king cannot move. Yeah, in different positions I would lock down in this structure, but there's no need to do that. So I could give this material back. They may be close to resigning. Let's just make sure this guy doesn't get fixed on a dark square. So there's no targets for the bishop now. Now, the easier approach is just to do this, and then get my rook over here, and get to the first rank for mate. So before I go here, I'm going to do this, just so that there's no quick pawn break. Yeah, they just missed that little tactic, so I'm going to come all the way back. There's no rush here. Here, 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 and that'll do it. Even on the clock. Let's just take a timeout to recapture the king. And then we'll come back. So we might just be playing this one out to mate. I guess I just have to be a hair concerned about stalemate, but I'm not going to let that happen. Bishop has to move. Yeah. It would be a mate in 2 from here. 1. Yeah, wherever the bishop moves, I give a check, and then the bishop has to block, and I get in the mate there. Alright, good game. Whew. Yeah, play really turned on the queen side, as we saw. They were undermining my strong knight on b5, and then overlooked this bishop reposition. I think even if... Let me go into the analysis. I think... let me just knock that off for a moment. I think even if... how to say... Even if white did not fall for this pin of the rook, I think I was gaining control over the b file. Because I was challenging the rook, and I think what was soon to happen is in a bishop-specific endgame. Oh, that's move times. This actually scared me some. I'm like, when I saw these little things up, I'm like, was white having a winning advantage early on in the game? No, that was just us investing a lot of time. Oh, I guess I have to, I have to enable that. I see. Okay, there's the graph. So, as we could see, very tight game. Right up until the end game. Right up until bishop to d8, it was even. And then just dropped off from there. Bishop c5. This is the early point. Bishop c5, and then knight here. What is it saying after that move? Yeah, it doesn't like that. I mean, no great advantage, but it goes even, and right around here. Yeah, it likes me right around here. This is a strong knight. I don't think I have to go through this without the analysis as a start. I feel confident enough just having the analysis on straight away. Yeah, we're not seeing, well, we're seeing that that's clearly not best. Did I treat this the correct way? I'm just curious about my decision to capture here, and the thing I'm most concerned about, not concerned, but I'm curious to know if this maneuver knight a7 focusing on b5 was a correct idea. So, arrows, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so captures. And just to sort of recap again, if I went with this is what concerned me some. And this slight waste of time that white had, the waste of time is not as easily exploitable because it's a locked position. This is something I covered in the if you've been tracking the Beginner to Chess Master playlist. I believe it's the Element of Time video. I mean, I'm up time-wise, so I should be seeking exchanges. It's not much, but yeah, I wanted to be assured that I get that in. Suggesting d5 here, but no biggie with knight f6. Okay, so instead of this, there's knight to e2, there's knight to f3, something normal. And then bishop back here. No. I think I was saying during the game that if this was played, I was going to go with d6. I pointed out if I go with a6, then there's this. And then this. I don't know how great it is, but this is, a pawn that's getting very deep into my position. And this is not an evaluation you could trust, by the way, because this is an extremely disruptive pawn. So this is what you would have to be on the lookout for right around this point. Not going with a6, looking for this retreat, because this steamroller of a d-pawn, tempo, thorn. So on knight to e2, in short, I was prepared to go with the d6, and on d4, I was prepared to back up. Okay, that didn't happen in the game knight e4. I make sure to exchange first, challenge the knight, and it's preferring black just by a hair, but castles before declaring the light square bishop. So like that move? Yeah, it's a good move. The computer's suggesting c5. I wonder about bishop here. Then I take here, and then this is an issue. Yeah, I think my opponent was right to do that then. This could simply, it has the possibility to drop off with this sequence. Yeah, I could even take right now. And on bishop takes, there's what? Oh. Well, that's interesting sequence. To take here first. I was thinking to capture here, and then take like this, but they get the b7 pawn. Taking here first, and then after this, then there's an in-between shot. Notice this move would not be good. Queen takes, down a piece. So that's interesting. Knight takes, bishop takes, then here. And on bishop takes bishop, there's this. I'm winning. And on queen takes, I get to take here, and there's not time to take here because my queen is hitting the bishop. That's interesting. My opponent had the correct idea. He was going to be vulnerable d4 if white didn't go at c5 on this move 10. So that's why there was a lot of time devoted to this position. c5, bishop f5, a6. Okay. h6, yeah. I pointed this was an idea, but I don't know. I got a flight square. Rook to e8. I think that this is fine. Again, if white doesn't do this, I like this idea. And now my knight may be able to camp out on c4, or even b3, but of the two, c4. Super influential to the queen side. A lot of pressure against the queen side, so I was on top of that right away. Rook e8. Queen g4 right now. No, this was the point. Okay, so I wanted to test this out. Knight a7. It's not suggesting that. But there's nothing wrong with it. Yes, I do have the right idea then. a4. The problem with this, I believe, is that white recaptures with the rook. You know, if this, I have no issues. Look at that. Completely open file for my rook. A knight that will be cemented in there. And you can't get this pawn running any further. So, I mean, from both of these squares, he puts pressure on this pawn, but what white was attempting to do with a3 was one day kick my knight away. So this is the c6 square is no longer a reliable home. So this is, after a couple key pawn moves, this now is going to be a home. And it's very important I get in c6 and secure the b5 square for my knight. Queen g4. It likes queen g4? Good. And queen there, I didn't consider that. Okay, queen e4. And some rook move. Yeah, I don't think I didn't voice it during the game, but if I do, I don't know, a passing move, just something like this. The rook can take here, because on knight c3, there's rook takes rook, and on knight takes queen, there's rook takes rook with check. And my opponent just scooped up 2 rooks and a knight for the queen. The difference by me playing rook to a7 is that on rook takes I do this, rook takes here, and there isn't another rook takes rook move with check. It's a balanced material. What did white get? A knight, rook, and a pawn for the queen, but yeah, this is better for black. I don't see white as super well coordinated. The rooks in particular are not in contact with one another. And my queen is super active, and my rook is soon to contribute. I don't see the A pawn surviving long. So that's why I stepped up. I don't think I got to share that during the game. And then, yeah, I was comfortable with the queens off. Let's go with g5. I went there. I honestly thought during the game the rook had to play here, but yeah, this is a good move. And it does want to go with g5. I just had seconds right around this point. My concern with g5 is that white could get in g4 and fix one of my pawns on a dark square. Typically, I want to keep these guys on light. Coordinated well with this guy. So I was thinking this, but this seemed too far-fetched, and I just quickly discounted it. I wanted to bring up my king really quick. I wanted to have him help out. In case of g4, I wanted to be able to play h5. and challenge this pawn. If takes, this is no longer a fixed pawn, and I can look forward to this. Seems a little bit awkward, but, it's fine in the computer's eyes. And I could even look forward to, who knows, maybe even g4. Or maybe even backing up the bishop and then getting in f5, f4. So I didn't go with g5. If I had more time, I would have been calculating this here in a quick king g6. By playing g5 first, it just seemed like my king was a little bit too far away to quickly get in an h5 advance. The other thing that I have to take into account, I believe, is that on g5, g4, white's king can be approaching, and if I'm playing here, maybe now this pawn doesn't have to budge because the king is close enough here. Maybe white can simply sit, maintain the pawn on g4, in other words. So there was like a little bit of a mini race I was calculating there, or trying to calculate at least, with the kings helping out to have some battle go on with the g4 and g5 squares. It's a minor detail, but it factors in. It definitely plays a role. Maybe, again, one day, if the g-pawn is not maintained, the heart of this structure, if he's no longer around, the f-pawn could get rolling. And this could really be the thing that breaks down white's position, because a big source for white, or a big, let's say, the glue for white, is this piece. He acts as, he's keeping everything connected. He's securing d4. He's not allowing my rook to penetrate to get into the second rank, so he's a purposeful piece. He's not doing much beyond that. He's a strictly defensive piece, but he doesn't allow my rook to get working so easily. We didn't quite get there. I went with something a bit more natural and non-committal, let's say, with moving the king towards the center. And I have a little tactic there to take on d4. Okay. Didn't see that. Rook e7. I just went over. It wants to return to e4. Okay, well, I didn't see the tactic to begin with, so. Now knight back. I felt on knight here right away there's this move I can't take because of a fork. So I wanted my king a little bit closer before I even budge with my knight. So king e7, king d3, we're both getting our rooks working. Yeah, and this is a, I'm in time trouble, let's just make a move, get a pawn off of a dark square. But I should have been going with this one move sooner to challenge that rook. In fact, bishop here right now would be preventing the very thing white wants to do, at least on this very next move, knight c3. Because I could do, the rook. There's rook takes rook first, but even so, this is an excellent position for me. More active rook, better structure, better bishop, and I'm the one that's certainly playing for a win here. Yeah. So I went there. Knight takes, king takes. It likes bishop there. And they have to retreat. Or I thought, take my rook, but it's still a similar story. Yeah, should just go back. And what to do from here? Check, or maybe start to play over here a little bit. Yeah, I guess still both sides of the board need to be worked. Maybe even bishop here to stop this. When it's suggesting king here and then this, so I thought, well, why not maybe stop what it is white wants to do first, and then get my king working. King c2, preparing to swap all rooks, and then get in. Yeah, this would be excellent. Again, it's black who's trying for something here. Targets for my bishop, and he doesn't have any targets. That's what I would be looking forward to if my opponent didn't blunder with a rook here, falling for the pin. But we were both in bullet mode, and it's clearly gone from here. Okay, well, as usual, If you have any feedback to this video, feel free to share it in the comment section below. And as usual, I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.